Thanksgiving, a day to be thankful in celebrating the harvest and other blessings of the past year. Friends and families gather from all over the world to eat food, drink booze, and watch football until they can't move anymore. In this lost year of 2020, I'm not sure what in the Sam hell we can give thanks for, and that especially holds true for the incompetent bozos of Matt Pooptricia and Boob Quinn. Sunday's 20-0 loss to an XFL quarterback is the final nail in the Motor City coffin as your Detroit Lions stumble into Turkey Day with a record of 4-6, with almost no chance of securing a wildcard spot. But you know what? The Thanksgiving Day game is still our game, damn it! A classic that's been a Detroit annual tradition since 1934. I don't care how good or how bad the Leos are, this is our day to shine in the national spotlight. And it's my favorite game of the year, so take that, Deshaun Watson. Somewhere, John Madden and his famous turkey leg award will be watching, so strap in, eat some turkey, drink some wine, and hold on tight, because the Thanksgiving edition of DSE starts right now.
Recorded from Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan, this is Detroit Sports Extreme. Here now is your new voice for Detroit Sports, Johnny Bakerstone.
Gobble, 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 Detroit, and welcome to a holiday edition of Detroit Sports Extreme. Everyone here at DSE wishes you and your loved ones a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And for boats on the west side, easy on that Merlot. We are coming at you from outside of Ford Field in the heart of Detroit, where Candy Copperfield and myself have been tailgating since Monday. And later this week, our beloved felines host those hated oil tycoons, the Houston Texans. Before we deep fry our turkey and pound back another beer, Candy and I have to thaw out our nuts and go over Sunday's Sweet Carolina barbecue bloodbath.
Week 11 recap.
I wanted for this game to go differently, guys, I really did. And it would have been fun to enter Turkey Day with a 500 record inching that much closer to a wild card. But it was simply not to be, as the Lions were an absolute joke on Sunday, getting shut out for the first time since 2009, Candy Copperfield.
Johnny, how in the hell is Matt Pooptricia still employed after this loss? I mean, seriously, the Panthers were fresh off a 5-game losing streak without their starting quarterback and one of the best running backs in the game in Christian McCaffrey, have a horrendous defense, yet they win the game easy. It's pathetic.
Poop now falls to 13-28-1 in his 2+ seasons as Lions head coach, as former XFL Flame PJ Walker made his first ever NFL start, making the Lions look silly all afternoon, throwing for 258 yards and a touchdown. And the final score would have been even more lopsided had Walker not thrown 2 red zone interceptions.
Yes, the Lions were playing without DeAndre Swift, Kenny Golladay, and Danny Amendola, but that does not excuse the poor performance of Matthew Stafford, who completed only 18 of 33 passes for 178 yards, averaging a measly 5.4 yards per completion. What in the hell was he doing out there?
I don't know, Candy, but I'm sick and tired of number 9's Jekyll and Hyde play. He was a dumpster fire and Minnehaha, throwing 2 interceptions, played great last week against Washington, and now this. And guys, spare me on the whole he was playing hurt bit. He injured his thumb in the first quarter of the Washington game and looked just fine after that, throwing for 3 touchdowns, and it was reported on game day Stafford would be playing without limitations in Charlotte. He's fine, and it's funny how the excuses continue to pile up for a guy that hasn't won his division or a playoff game once in 11 years. I'm sorry, but after a decade, the accountability has to fall on the shoulders of the starting quarterback. Fair or not?
Oh, it's fair, Johnny. I don't think one team in the entire NFL would have gotten shut out the way the Lions did on Sunday. Not a one. It was the low point of the careers for both Stafford and Pooptricia.
Guys, the Lions never made it past the Panthers' 25-yard line and did not make one trip to the red zone. Not one. They punted on 4 of their first 5 possessions. This was against a defense that had forced just 2 punts in their previous 4 games combined. Carolina allowed 46, 33, 25, and 27 points in those last 4 games. But Sunday, the Lions could not even muster a field goal. It's unfathomable. Please, if you feel any differently, I'd love to hear from you on the Detroit Sports Extreme Facebook page. But it's time for a new quarterback in this town. He's a nice guy, and I wish him nothing but the best. But have 4 more kids with Kelly and call it a career. The 2021 NFL Draft could have as many as 4 quarterbacks drafted in the top 10, and I'd love for the Lions to get their paws on one of them. They of course need to continue to lose to have that opportunity, but it's certainly a possibility as their schedule is about to get much tougher. Send Quinn and Pooptricia to the unemployment line, draft a quarterback, and let's get a full-blown rebuild going. I'm sure the Chargers are thrilled they got Justin Herbert after finally kicking Phillip Rivers to the curb. And no, you're not going to hit on every quarterback you take in the draft, but it's time to start trying. I know what the Lions are with Stafford. I don't know what they could be with a young signal caller with possibly a bright future. It's not like Stafford is getting any younger either. He'll turn 33 early next year and has been battling injuries for quite some time now. More on the game now. The Lions' quote, running game combined for just 35 yards, and the offensive line allowed 5 sacks and 11 quarterback hits. I mean, there's not one positive takeaway you can come up with from the entire contest. Unless the Texans blow the roof off Ford Field on Thanksgiving, and they might, I doubt you'll see a coaching change because it should have been done already after this monstrosity. You can hire the ball boy to coach this team for all I care, but it should not be Pooptricia moving forward. It's fair to question if this team is even playing for him at this point. The effort and performance against Carolina is indefensible. Will this lackluster letdown linger into Black Friday Eve, or will the Honolulu Blue and Silver stuff a turkey up the ass of Romeo Crennel and the Houston Texans? To the game to find out.
Week 12 Preview.
Before we dive into the game, we here at DSE would like to give you a quick history lesson. It all started during the Great Depression, way back when in 1929, when the franchise was known as the Portsmouth Spartans. If you don't know, Portsmouth is a small city on the southern tip of Ohio that lies on the northern bank of the Ohio River, just across from Kentucky. It's one fine town. Take it from me, I've been there. But 5 years later, in 1934, George Richards, a radio executive who owned WJR, a radio affiliate of NBC that still exists today, bought the team and moved them to the Motor City, renaming them the Detroit Lions. At the time, the Tigers were the hottest ticket in town, and Richards was searching for ways to attract more fans when a light bulb went off in his head. Have the Lions play on Thanksgiving. Boy, did his idea pay off, as the Lions sold out the game and actually had to turn away fans at the gates. Our fans were just as sick as they are today. Richards convinced NBC to carry the game on 94 stations across the country. The Lions, of course, lost to the Bears, and although they'd continue to lose on Fat Thursday year after year, a tradition was born that you and I both know and love that, of course, still goes on today. Now let's wipe the tears off our face, roll up our sleeves, and preview Thursday's pivotal, and I mean pivotal matchup against the Houston Texans. I have to admit I'm torn. On one hand, it's Thanksgiving. I always cheer for the Lions on Thanksgiving. It's my favorite game of the year, my favorite holiday of the year, and it's tradition. But on the other, I want Poop and Booby out of here. And a loss to the Texans would expedite that process, perhaps as soon as after the game, as the Lions will have a week and a half off until their next contest. Detroit is losers of 3 of their last 4, and the offense will remain searching for answers, as Kenny Golladay and Danny Amendola's hips are still nursing, and both are expected to be missing in action. That's the bad news. The good news is DeAndre Swift's concussion is subsiding, as he returned to practice this week on a limited basis, which puts him on track to suit up. And if that's the case, Adrian Peterson and Kerryon Johnson's combined 13 carries for 35 yards from Sunday can hit the pine. It would be a great matchup for Swift, as the Texans' rushing defense has been a joke all season. More on that in a moment. For another game, it'll look like a wide receiving trio of Marvin Jones, Quintez Cephus, and Marvin Hall, so God help us. Sunday, Jones managed only 4 catches for 51 yards. Cephus went 1 for 9, and Hall 3 for 16. This passing offense is absolutely comical without Kenny Golladay, and that was evident more than ever in Carolina. Why Boob Quinn hasn't locked up Golladay long-term is beyond me, and if he doesn't, this is a preview of the shit show we'll see for years to come. It was nice to see TJ Hawkinson rebound after a tough game against Washington, as he hauled in 4 catches for 68 yards, and he'll be needed more than ever on Turkey Day. For those of you scoring at home, Jesse James had all of 1 grab for 3 yards. No need to go over the defense, guys. An XFL quarterback just burned their balls off the stratosphere, and I expect much of the same from Deshaun Watson.
Behind enemy lines, the Houston Texans.
The Texans enter Ford Field fresh off a 27-20 win against the New England Patriots. Take that, Bill, improving their record to just 3-7. But don't let that fool you. At least on the offensive side of the ball, this team can score some points. That all starts at quarterback with Deshaun Watson, who ranks in the top 11 in the NFL in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and quarterback rating. One thing to keep an eye on, it's something I notice every week while watching the Red Zone channel, is once the pocket collapses, this man will take off and run circles like a chicken with his head cut off. He is very crafty at avoiding pressure and letting the play break down to allow his receivers to get open, and I don't expect that to change on Thursday. Out of commission and on injured reserve is running back David Johnson, who Houston curiously traded for last offseason, giving up perhaps the best wide receiver in the game in DeAndre Hopkins. That was one of the many boneheaded moves that cost Bill O'Brien his job. The Texans will turn to some combination of Duke Johnson, no relation to David, and CJ Prosise, which doesn't scare me one bit. But they do face off against the Lions defense that has allowed league highs in both rushing and receiving touchdowns to opposing running backs. Duke's bread and butter, much like Mike Davis of Carolina, is his pass-catching ability, so expect plenty of dink and dunks. It's worth noting that the Texans averaged the second fewest rushing yards per game in the NFL. Wide receiver Will Fuller has been fighting off injuries for years now, but when healthy, is one of the most dangerous deep threats in the NFL. The other two wide receivers for Houston are a tandem of veteran has-beens in Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb, although Cooks is still prone for a big game here and there. Expect a lot of throwing from an offense that ranks 8th in the NFL in passing yards per game. Even though they're shorthanded on offense, the Lions, a lot like the last game, should score against a defense that gives up the second most total yards per game and the most rushing yards per game. Attention, DeAndre Swift. Healthy, at least for now though, is defensive end J.J. Watt. And although he clearly is not the player he used to be, he can still make an impact while out there. Watt is as likable as they come in the NFL and regularly donates to charity. Fired back in October, Bill O'Brien was coach and GM of the Texans since 2014, compiling an overall record of 52-48 and making the playoffs 4 times. That looks nice on paper, but O'Brien made a series of head-scratching moves as GM and did not take to the players well either, regularly feuding with them. Taking over on an interim basis is Romeo Crennel, who will almost certainly be replaced in the offseason. The Lions enter the game as 3-point home turkey dogs, and I'm taking the Texans in this one. It looked like the Lions quit on Pooptricia in Carolina, and I think this is the final straw in the camel's back. Lions lose big, and Poop gets fired. But hey, happy holidays! We are going to take a quick 60-second commercial break here on Detroit Sports Extreme. Do not go anywhere.
Searching for the perfect gift this Black Friday for your loved ones? Looking for a video game with the same animations, mechanics, and gameplay since 2003? Scrambling for a recycled product that is still not as good as ESPN NFL 2K5? Well, look no further than Madden NFL 21, home of the $60 roster update. A pathetic game with hilarious glitches and bugs that will leave you laughing for hours, Madden NFL 21 is the perfect gift from EA, a multi-billion-dollar company that is as lazy as a snail. With the same franchise mode since 1997, we promise you this is the best Madden yet. Madden NFL 21, the same damn game every year, but with roster updates. Throw your money down the toilet and get it this holiday season for $60. Welcome back to Detroit Sports Extreme. Here again is your new voice for Detroit Sports, Johnny Bakerstone. Extreme Expressions.
As with every show, we take 3 calls from you, the listeners. We start this segment with JT.
Hey, JB, it's JT again. Look, I got to make it brief. They only give me 10 minutes of phone time here, and I got to pay for it, so I got to be quick. Yeah, just give me a second. All right, so anyone who thinks we've got a pig's chance in hell to make this Thanksgiving Day interesting, I mean, you're just drinking too much of the Kool-Aid. Look, it's Matt Stafford. The guy doesn't win big games. It's Thanksgiving. Houston's on, they've been making it look easy as of late, and the Lions just lost to the XFL's no-name MVP. I mean, at what point do you go, okay, it's done, hang it up, burn it down, fire everyone, kill them, suck it, fuck it, I don't give a shit. It's over, all right? Pooptricia's got to go. Booby's got to go. We all got to grow up and just realize the season's over. Here's the plan for anyone who wants to have a good Thanksgiving. First things first, get yourself some Coors lattes, sit yourself down on the couch, down some turkey, get the tryptophan or whatever the hell it's called, knock yourself out. Do not watch this Lions game because it does not fucking matter, okay? It doesn't. All right, I gotta go. They're gonna kick me off the phone.
You can tell JT's gonna have one memorable Thanksgiving, but it doesn't sound like he's gonna tune in to watch the Lions game. Too bad, but I guess I can't blame you, JT. Okay, next up is a staple here on DSE. It's Boats from the West Side.
Hey, Johnny. Boats from the west side again. Hey, man, sometimes you just have a shit day. That's it. You ain't got no Galladay. You ain't got no Amendola. You ain't got no Swift. And Stafford's hurt. Man, what you gonna do? You just have a bad day every once in a while. They gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. I tell you what, man. Next week? Oh, shit. Not even next week. It's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. You know what, man? It's Houston. They're up and down. Who knows what they're going to bring? Who knows what we're going to bring? We don't even know who's going to play. Shit.
Oh, Boats from the West Side always spinning things in the favor of number 9 and the Lions. We all know one thing for certain, however. Mr. Boats will be face-planted at his dinner table after watching the Lions on Thanksgiving. Okay, our last caller is Doc from Ann Arbor.
Johnny, this is Doc from Ann Arbor. Oh boy, did I hear you say that Carolina, in the 4 games leading up to the Lions, only forced 2 punts? 2. Is that right? I mean, I gotta clean my ears out because I don't think I heard you correctly. 2 punts in 4 games, and the Lions go out and take a giant goose dump all over the field and lose to who? PJ? I don't even know his name, Johnny. I really don't even know the guy's name. I have to Google it and look it up just to figure out who he is so I can tell you that they lost to PJ Walker. I mean, what is this? A rewind to Matt Flynn, Chase Daniel, or who was that? Who was the emergency QB for Minnesota who came in to kick our nuts in? Joe Webb, I think, came in and beat us. I mean, it goes on and on and on. You got a guy in Matt Stafford who's had one of the greatest receivers to ever live, Calvin Johnson, and can't figure out a way to win a single playoff game with him. You got no division titles since he's been here. You've got a year where we had the number 2 total defense when we lost to Seattle on the road. 0 chance to ever win that game. So don't tell me we need defense to get it done. Don't tell me we need weapons to get it done. Matt Stafford is a bum. Get this guy out of town. Burn this thing to the ground. You had a chance at 3 this year to go get Tua, and at least we would be interested in these games. You'd have something to look forward to, some kind of glimmer of hope. But no, we had to go and get Okuda. The guy can't cover himself at night, Johnny, okay? And to Boats, this clown from the west side, I want you to defend yourself. Come back on here and defend yourself. You come out here every week tooting the horn of the Lions. It is absolutely pathetic. You know, I used to be one of these guys who listen to these old-timers talk about the Lions and say, well, but if we only did this, if we only had that, if this game went this way or that way, I'm done with it. Stafford needs to go. I don't blame anybody else because we've had all kinds of coaches, all kinds of coordinators, all kinds of help. I mean, it just doesn't matter. It's the Lions, and they'll always be the Lions, Johnny.
Oh, hello! An honest take from a fan that's seen enough. I'm sure Doc is going to enjoy his Turkey Day. Special thanks goes to all 3 of our callers, JT, Boats from the West Side, and Doc. If you'd like to call into the show, simply audio message us on the Detroit Sports Extreme Facebook page for a chance to be heard on next week's show.
Detroit Sports Extreme presents Michigan Moments.
This week's edition of Michigan Moments will have some holiday flair behind it as we count down the top 5 most memorable Detroit Lion Thanksgiving Day games since 1995 in the eyes of yours truly.
Number 5, 1995, Lions 44, Vikings 38.
1995 saw the O.J. Simpson verdict announced as not guilty, but this game was sure guilty of a lot of points, as Scott Mitchell and Warren Moon battled in a mid-90s classic Silver Dome divisional duel. Mitchell threw for 410 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Moon tossed for 384 yards and 3 touchdowns, as Wayne Fonts and the 5-6 Lions started a 5-game winning streak that clinched a playoff spot. They were the hottest team to enter the playoffs that year, but would famously lose 58-37 to Randall Cunningham and the Eagles in the wild card game. And wait, because Cunningham just threw another touchdown.
Number 4, 2012, Texans 34, Lions 31.
The Lions lost this game, but it's memorable nonetheless, and is mostly remembered for a head coaching blunder by head coach Jim Schwartz. With the Lions leading by 10 in the third quarter, Texans running back Justin Forsett rushed up the middle, but his knee and elbow appeared to hit the ground. He kept on running anyway, and the Lions let him go as they thought he was down. Schwartz lost his mind and threw a challenge flag, even though all scoring plays are automatically reviewed. For whatever reason, due to a glitch in the NFL rulebook, this prevented the play to be reviewed and the touchdown stood. Oh boy. The Lions would lose the game and finished 4-12 on the season. Schwartz would start the next year 6-3, but lost 6 of his next 7 games and was fired after 5 seasons. Hashtag undisciplined.
Number 3, 2000, Lions 34, Patriots 9.
Unfortunately, this was not a sign of things to come as Gary Moeller, yes, the Michigan Gary Moeller, kicked Bill Belichick's ass in his first season as Pats head coach in the new millennium. Charlie Batch threw for a touchdown and ran for another, and Drew Bledsoe threw 2 interceptions, including one to Bryant Westbrook for a touchdown, prompting a QB change as rookie Tom Brady made his NFL debut, completing his first career pass. Brady would go on to have a, okay career, I guess, that's still miraculously going on at age 43 in Tampa Bay. For the Lions, all they had to do was beat a 4-11 Bears team at home in the season finale to clinch a playoff spot. But kicker Paul Ettinger booted a 54-yard field goal to end their season. The game was not broadcasted on television locally, as it was not a sellout, and fans had to listen to their lives end on the radio. It started a pussycat tailspin as the Kitties didn't reach the playoffs again until 2011.
Number 2, 1997, Lions 55, Bears 20.
In 1997, the motion picture Titanic was released, and the Bears were some of the unfortunate victims to plummet to the bottom of the Atlantic following this Barry Sanders nut roasting. After falling behind 14-3, the Lions went bananas as Sanders burned Chi-Town for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns, juking the Bears out of their jockstraps and making highlight videos that are still seen today. The win kept Bobby Ross's playoff hopes alive, who was in his first season as head coach. The Leos ended up clinching a playoff spot on the final day of the regular season, but of course lost in the wild card game to the Buccaneers 20-10.
Number 1, 1998, Lions 19, Steelers 16.
1998 marked the final season of Seinfeld, as well as Michael Jordan's final season with the Chicago Bulls. For the Lions, it was another lost year as they entered this game with a record of 4-7, but the ending is still talked about today at Thanksgiving dinner tables. We immediately jumped to the start of overtime and the coin toss, where Steelers running back Jerome Bettis called tails. Or did he? Referee Phil Luckett heard otherwise, and perhaps had a little money riding on the game as he announced heads and awarded the ball to the Lions. Even a bottom feeder like our Detroit Lions could make the steel curtain pay for the coin toss blunder as Jason Hanson kicked the 42-yard game-winning field goal to seal their fate. Amazingly, The Steelers, who entered the game at 7-4, did not win another game the rest of the season and missed the playoffs. And neither did the Lions, who improved to 5-7 with the win, but finished the season at 5-11.
Bird of the Week.
Unless you're new to the show, you already know the Bird of the Week is given to the Stud of the Week. But after Sunday's 20-0 debacle that saw our quarterback throw for only 178 yards, leading running back rush for only 18 yards, leading pass catcher receive only 68 yards, and team defense get torched by an XFL quarterback, I refuse to award any Detroit Lion. Instead, this week's Bird of the Week will go to the turkey that will be consumed at your dinner table after watching Deshaun Watson throw 4 touchdowns on Thursday. Did you know 46 million turkeys are eaten each Thanksgiving? Huh, that's a shitload of birds. Simply put, if you're a turkey in the month of November, a lot like our Detroit Lions, you don't have a lot going for you.
Turd of the Week.
I'm sorry, but the Turd of the Week has to go to Matthew Stafford, and I think you know why. Facing a defense that ranked in the bottom third in just about every category, number 9 was shut out for the first time since 2009. He threw for only 54 yards in the first half, his worst total since 2013. I'm aware of the injuries on the offensive side of the ball, but come on. If you were watching the Red Zone channel and wondered why the Lions' offense never appeared, it wasn't because of the 8 Bud Lights you had. It was because they did not make one single trip to the Red Zone. How is that even possible? This poopy performance is sure to stink in the realm of Lions history for quite some time.
Stat of the Week.
37. The Lions have an overall record of 37, 41, and 2 on Turkey Day, and have lost their last 3 games in a row, twice to the Bears and once to the Vikings. Starting in 2004, following a 41-9 ass-kicking to the Colts, which saw Peyton Manning throw 6 touchdowns, the Leos lost 9 Turkey Days in a row. Since then, they've gone a respectable 4-3. Before we sign off to send you on your holiday way, Candy and I would like to take this opportunity to give thanks to just some of the many things the year 2020 has brought us. In all seriousness, we understand the severity of what COVID-19 has done to negatively impact so many lives, and in no way are we minimizing that. But in a year that has been mostly negative, sometimes it's the small things that count. So with that being said, let's lead it off with Mr. Copperfield. Candy, what are you thankful for in this lost year of 2020?
Well, Johnny, our trip to Carolina last week is a perfect example of this. After scarfing down 20 sweet Carolina barbecue wings, I needed to relieve myself, and quickly. But because of the times that we're in, not only was nobody in the bathroom, it was as clean as a whistle. Not only that, but after closing the bars down on Saturday night, I woke up as hungover as Charlie Sheen after a bachelor party on Sunday morning and overslept. I thought I was gonna miss our pregame coverage for sure, but since Bank of America Stadium was at only 8% capacity, there was no traffic on the way to the game.
My God, Candy, you're sick, but I still love you. I'll tell you what I'm thankful for. After a long run at 1660 The Wave, Detroit Sports Extreme was started on September 15th of this year, and we have been pumping out weekly podcasts ever since. We thank all of our listeners out there, and if you ever have any feedback or would like to call into the show, please message us on our Facebook page at Detroit Sports Extreme. We love to hear from our listeners, even you, boats from the west side. Okay, Candy, real quickly, favorite Thanksgiving Day side?
Gotta go stuffing, Johnny. Spicy Cajun stuffing. After watching the Lions get stuffed Thanksgiving after Thanksgiving, it seems most appropriate, and it's been a Copperfield family staple for years.
I gotta go marshmallow-topped sweet potatoes. It's been a Bakerstone family tradition since my grandfather Bert was whipping them up back in the Stone Ages. All three of my ex-wives beg me for the recipe every year, but I never budge. And that especially goes for you, Rebecca. That will do it for this holiday edition of DSC. Seriously, everyone, be safe on Thanksgiving. Scarf down a lot of turkey and pumpkin pie. Throw back the drinks. Enjoy football and go Lions!